Hello and welcome. So, I am going to take a look at the Observer's Everyman, and as you can see from the thing on screen, it's the 27th of July 2025. So, as ever, I publish these a week later because there's a prize attached to them, and I get to submit my details and be wrong. I think I had the last two, maybe three puzzles wrong. But anyway, there's a clock ticking, it's coming up towards 3 minutes, so it's quite nice to see what is going on there. I don't think there's anything else to say really. I'm just going to reset. I'm just going to crack on. So yeah, 3 minutes coming up. Right, zero choice. Quietly moving to find romantic elixir. You'd think that's an anagram. Zero choice. Quietly with a P. Zero choice. That's 10 letters, isn't it? O. Quiet choice P. So look one down. Primarily location Lido. That's a simple. Can't even type properly now. What's going on? Lido, there we are. Ooh, love potion, I imagine that is. Zero love potion is a. What is that? Love potion. Option with the P moving, yep. Okay. Meteorological device, useless in broadcast. Meteorological device. Useless in broadcast is void. Broadcast will sound like. Okay, DJ's tunes displaying acumen, disco mostly. Excuse me. Disco mostly suggests there might be a disc in there. Is it a hidden word? Discs. Not sure. Right, let's go on to. I'd forgotten I actually got the tab button on this. Without partisanship, not entirely. I would have thought it's just a hidden word. Sons. Yeah, not entirely being a thing. Let's get down on the crosses for a minute. Don't know the DJ's tunes, which is 8 letters. Shakespearean ass stripped off, revealing German lad. Bottom Otto. So yeah, okay. Oh, my typing is terrible today. Paper in error, ultimately with glib grease to lose stream. Paper in error, ultimately with glib grease to lose stream. Topless bloke given plonk and wine is plonk is wine or red. Gent to start weaving. Unload and snooze is something off, isn't it? Snooze. Drop off. Drop off is to unload, yep. Might one of these have an issue with kids? I assume that's some kind of mother of some sort. Goats, nanny goats, billy goats. Labour leader. Labour leader. Interesting clue. So with kids, Labour leader. Okay, aromatherapist, regular purchase, must have painting. Wow. Must have painting. Aromatherapist, regular purchase would be PRAEUCAE. Purchase. PRH. There's going to be odd letters of aromatherapist. I need to sneeze, excuse me. Gosh. Ruse persona backfired. Ruse. User, I suppose. Is that an anagram of user? Or is it persona? Scam. Max. Scam. Sham. Persona backfired. Gnome idiot ridiculously early. Looks like an anagram on the same time. Ridiculously early. Early is in good time. In good time. Anagram. Artist are a Dutch heavyweight. Okay, Dali. D. Ali. Heavyweight being Muhammad Ali. Becoming tongue twisted, lay eyes on a foe, tentacle beast. Wow. Becoming tongue twisted, lay eyes on a foe, tentacle beast. Gosh. Meteorological device. Useless in broadcast. So I want useless to be void. Don't know. Okay, before jobs, posterous terms, terms often stated. Advertised, posted. Stated, announced, jobs, posts. Don't think that's working, but I think pre is before. Sweet time raising creature with expensive coat. Sweet time raising creature with expensive coat. In Oxford English Dictionary, okay, slang for hand, left out, claw, mitted. Fond of food, topless, enormous. Fond of food, topless, enormous would be customer for whom every purchase is steal is a shoplifter, surely. Oh, is it skipping? Let me check my settings, excuse me. Yeah, skipping, that's why I had a problem earlier. Right, hopefully that's going to give me no problems now. That's why I've been struggling with my typing. Shoplifter. Everything else. Okay. Love potion songs, I'll tell you. Drop off. Good time. Dali. Probably because I haven't got many answers, so it hasn't been a problem yet. Another swindle from junior partner. Another swindle. Uselessly intervened vis-a-vis wheel. Anagram of intervened. Intervened is 10 letters. Don't know. Inertia. Flipping extremes in inertia. Flipping extremes in inertia. Then assumes proud position. And the extremes in inertia is AI. So let's put AI there. Or is it flipping and then IA? God, don't know. Game license. Game license is not beginning to show discipline. Game license is not beginning to show discipline. Game could be RU, rugby, go. License is not beginning. Or is it N for not? Taking some paracetamol. This must be a hidden word, wasn't it? Moldova. There we go. Excuse me. Terrible bore, largely describing Everyman as a writer. Biro. Okay. Anagram of bore. without the E on it. Gosh, no more than a lake is a mere. Fair enough. Back to the top. 0 love option. Yep. Songs. Yep. Right. DJ's tunes, dance, music. I suppose that is. Anagram, acumen. Yep. Thingy. Vein. Weather vein. Is it vein that way? I think it has to be, doesn't it? I can see that being that way. Sweet time, raising tiny creature with expensive coat. Expensive coat is going to be double E, isn't it? Sweet time is T. Tiny creature is. I want to put tiramisu in there, which it clearly isn't going to be. I can't think what the sweet will be. I assume it's can't be toffee. I was thinking of a pudding kind of sweet. Truffle. What that would be truffle? I don't think it can be. No. But it could be TR. Okay, let's have a look at this one. Paper in error. I've still not done my rhyming pair either of them. Which will probably be those two long ones down at 3 and 11. Paper in error, ultimately with the glib grease to loose steam. Run out of. Go off the. Is that the boil? Go off the boil? Might that be go off the boil? Goof is an error. Go off. FT is a paper. The boil. Paper in error. So go off. Go goof. FT. He boil, which is glib without the G. Grease to lose. Lose the G, I think. Wow. Okay. Fond of food is topless enormous is antro arthro. Fond of food. That kind of makes you look at going truffle. Sweet truffle. Would that be truffle? Trifle. Oops. If the expensive coat is just an E, raising tiny creature with expensive coat. Well, a fur is an elf and a fur. Okay, they are. Truffle. Free. Could be preposterous. Let's put posterous. Could be preposterous. I think so. Often stated post. Predominant. Jobs advertised. Dominant. Terms often stated. See if that's T. I think jobs is posts. Just have a look. Often stated. There's a hidden word there. Stated. Okay. Topless bloke. Given plonk to start weaving. Topless bloke would be a man or a gent. Plonk would be. Start weaving is to. Not sure. I'm going to look at this one for a while. Labour leader. Not sure. I thought there was another. Another swindler is anagram of another. Can't see that one. This one down here. Becoming tongue twisted. Oh gosh. Lay eyes on a tentacled beast. 3. eyes on a foe. Eyes on a foe. Could be an anagram of eyes on a foe. Tongue twisted. As I am. Antelope doesn't quite fit in there. Oh. 3 and 7. No, this one. That's the junior doctor, junior partner. I think this is the get off the boil. Something oil, I'd imagine. Get off the boil, something oil. Could it be? Aromatherapists, regular purchase will be. Well, they do use oil, don't they? I thought what we must have is painting is a oil painting. Assuming that's an oil though. Another swindle from junior partner. Game could be Go. Can be Go, can be Rugby Union. Could just be another game entirely. License is not beginning. License is to allow. Not beginning. To show discipline is to. I would think. Yeah, Go. That's a G. I'm not sure it will be. Might want to have an issue with these kids. Might one of these have an issue with kids. Yeah. I thought that's definitely going to be something to do with goats, but issues are normally to do with children as well. Another tough Everyman. We've gone from a few weeks back where we're flying through them and really enjoying them to let's drag through this now on a very slow basis. I thought that's pre-posts. Pre-posts, often stated pre-posts. Pre-post terms. Terms could be TRS. Topless bloke, given plonk to start weaving is to ducking and diving, weaving. Aromatherapist, regular purchase, some kind of oil, but don't know which. This one, ruse, persona backfired. Ruse is a scam. I'm thinking backfired is saying turn it backwards. Persona isn't a Mac. Sham, Mars, fake. No. This down here, uselessly intervened vis-a-vis wheel. Definitely, that looks like an anagram of intervened. What it would be, I'd assume it'd end in ED, wouldn't it? Maybe it's not an anagram of intervened. Yeah. Right, going to go back to this one over here, just because I want to just write this out horizontally, because I always struggle with down clues. A something, T something, O something, O something. Auto. Fond of food is fond of food. Topless, enormous, gigantic. Astronomic, gastronomic, and astronomic. Yeah, okay. Astronomic, gastronomic. Okay, gastronomic, gastronome. I think it's astronomic is the answer. Labour leader. Something to do with having children, that kind of labour. Childbirth. Midwife, there we are. That was easy. Midwife, okay. Which makes that another swindle. Tuning partner, record, second fiddle. Ah, yes, clever. Second fiddle, another. Becoming tongue-tied. Lay eyes on a foe. Tentacle beast. There's a lot of letters in there. I feel fairly confident they are all correct letters. A, E, I, A, E, O, E. Lay eyes on is to see anemone. Right, anemone. One. I think that's how you spell anemone. An enemy. Tongue twisted is saying it's a, so it's a C anemone spelled like that. I'm not sure about my N's and EMs. As I'm going to submit it, I'm fairly sure that's the way it is. An enemy. Anemone. I'm sure it's spelt that way. I may check it before I submit it. Game license is not beginning to show discipline. Oh, I'll put shingle there. Can't be shingle, can it? Must have is. Okay, so if that's second fiddle, does that rhyme with this? Don't think so. I think it is go off the boil and something oil. But I can't think what aromatherapists use for kind of an oil. Must have is mandatory. Inertia. Then assumes proud position. Proud position is stands tall. I think that is, but I don't know why it stands tall. Is it stands tall? Stall, stand, stall, stall, stand, stand, stall. I'm sure that's right. Stand, stall. I can't remember what that is. Might one of these have an issue with kids? Nanny. Topless bloke given plum to start weaving is given. Sure, bloke is man with an an. Topless plonk is. Just take that out for a second. Ant. Given plonk to start. Or is it just entwine? Entwine is to weave, isn't it? Ah, that's interesting. Now I've taken that out, help me get there. Preposition. Preposition. Okay, preposition doesn't quite work. Terms often stated. Prepositions. Okay. Yeah. This still don't know. There's occasional. Okay, get in there. Might one of these have an issue with the kids? Is that personal? No. Must have. I assume that's oil at the end for a painting, an oil painting. Business bus. If that was rugby union, which I don't think it is, but it might be, for a game. Are you run? Not beginning to show would be not. Would be beginning of not would be a license. Now if that's a R, or is that a G? Ah, maybe that's a G for go. Go. That'd be an ing. If that was an ing, what have we got? Tanning, banning. Could kids with, well, there's a lot of issues in kids in there, which is just children, but could kids be something to do with comedians and teasing and things? Okay, useless to intervene. There's an extra E in there. Maybe it is an anagram there. Let's have another go. Intervened. I haven't actually tried anagramming yet, but intervened. Vened. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. He does like to put. Normally, actually, I have to say that more often than not, Everyman does tend to have an anagram in that position. I'm not saying he always does, but quite often. Vis-a-vis wheel. Don't know what that means really. Just better. Excuse me. Intervene. Nev. Vent. That was a T. Very annoying not to be able to get this. Let's assume that is an anagram. If that was an anagram there, then could have an I. I'm just looking at what I could have here. Don't think that would be essential. There you are, essential oils. Okay. Go in. Don't think that's right. Take that out. Game. License is not beginning to show discipline. However, that essential oils has given me another E. I think I've got an E down there, haven't I? If that's the case. Let's try the same trick here. Not convinced, but T. Ruse is a persona. Backfired. Fairly sure that's a hidden word, but not hidden word, backwards, a backward word. Ruse. Oh, TRD. what vis-a-vis is meaning there really. But let's try that trick again on here. It's got an I, maybe. Nannies, I think that is. Nannies. Might one of the nannies have a problem? Game license. So I need to, if that's the case, and it's nannies, then I need to write that out horizontally. License is not beginning to show discipline. Yeah, I did say nanny goats, and that will make sense as to why we're getting that. Slow. Are we looking for a game? Eek. S-Y. St. Can't say that, mate. To show discipline is to... Okay, well, assuming that nannies is correct, and I think it probably is. I'm running out of letters to put here now. Innovated. TRV. Ret. I was going to put the R down low, wasn't I? Could be a ved. Retrieved. Ted. Inverted. Invented. Just trying to see what letters I've used. If I put RT there, then I've got a VNI. Oh, I've only got one letter. VNI. Reinvented. Okay, reinvented the wheel. Okay, right. I think I've got two N's in intervened. Yeah. Okay. So somehow I don't think I'd crossed off one letters. Right. Reinvented. Okay, which means this ruse is persona backfired. Once again, I need to put that backward. Ruse is not going to be anything on the bottom right. Not going to be that. Could be an H. Toe. Trap. Trap. Persona. Ruse is a trap. Persona is a part. Playing a part. Persona. I'm going with it. I'm not entirely sure about that, but that's what I'm going with. So it just leaves me this one here. Which I don't seem to be able to unravel. SA. Game license. License is not beginning. To show discipline. Is there just license in there? Is it an anagram license? It is, isn't it? Which is, I think it's an anagram license without the S. License, is it? Maybe not 2, 4, 6, 8. 7 letters. I've got an S. I've got an S in there. That doesn't work. Okay, there's not anywhere of that then maybe. Science. Science is discipline. Maybe it's an anagram then. Science. Okay, it's an anagram of license without the L. There we are. Right. 3750. I'm going to just pause the video. I'm going to check how to spell sea anemone. And then I'm going to submit and put in my details and come back and explain. I return. I've submitted my answers. I didn't have to change sea anemone. I have remembered how to spell it. I have seen that a few times now to kind of vaguely remember how to spell it correctly. Right, add a little cup of tea, and so now I'll go through the clues as best I can. So let's start there. So one across. Zero. So zero is love. Score in tennis. No points. A choice is an option. Quietly moving. So quietly in musical notation is play quietly is P for piano. So move the P of piano in option. So across. So it becomes potion, which is a romantic elixir. Without means sans. So obviously a foreign word, but sans means without. Hidden word across partisanship. Not entirely is your hidden word indicator. DJ's tunes are dance music. Displaying acumen disco mostly. So I think it's an anagram of acumen disco, but without the O. So mostly it's saying take everything but the O of disco. Displaying is a dodgy anagram indicator. Shakespearean ass. So in one of the plays, Midsummer Night's Dream, bottom is turned into an ass or a donkey, or whatever. So the character bottom, strip off the B and the M, leaves you with Otto, which is kind of stereotypical German boy's name. Right, the paper in error, ultimately with glib grease to lose steam. Well, to lose steam is to go off the boil. And we've got the FT, Financial Times, is the paper, going in an error, which is a goof. Ultimately with, is that right? In error, goof. The boil, I think, well, ultimately with the glib. Right, I'm going to pause while I just get this right. Okay, that's wow, that's convoluted. Right, okay, so we've got the paper is the FT, in error is a goof, and then ultimately we need the H from with, E from the, and B from glib, gives you the HEB that go after FT, and then oil is grease, and then to lose steam is to go off the boil. Wow. So on to the next one. A topless bloke given plonk to start. Okay, so bloke is a gent. Take the G off of gent gives you ent. Plonk is wine, and to entwine is to start weaving, so waving. Yep. To unload, so if you unload your lorry, you drop off the goods, and to snooze is to drop off to sleep. Might one of these have an issue with kids? Well, nannies, a nanny goat, and goats have kids. Might one of these have an issue with kids? So nanny goats. Issue is quite often used to indicate children because they issue from. That's just an old, very old term for having children. So yeah, I think it's kind of a cryptic to do with the fact that nanny goats are having children. Nanny goats have kids. Nannies. So might one of these. So nannies is the plural. So a nanny might have children, but it's one of these, so therefore nannies is what the answer is. Ugh. Labour leader, yeah, okay, the midwife. So nothing to do with Keir Starmer or any other political leader. Labour as in going into birth labour, and the midwife obviously is leading the procedure. Aromatherapy is regular purchase. Well, that's an essential oil, so yeah, must have is essential, and an oil can be a painting, type painting. Right, not entirely sure about this one, but I think a ruse is a trap, and a persona is a part. So you play a part to give yourself a persona. Backfired is saying put it backwards. Gnome gnome idiot is an anagram of in good time, I believe. Ridiculous is your anagram indicator, and if you're early, then you are in good time. Artist Salvador Dali is the answer. D for Dutch, and heavyweight is Muhammad Ali. Right, becoming tongue twisted. See an enemy. There it is. I just literally said see an enemy, and lay eyes on a foe is to see an enemy. Becoming tongue twisted. Well, the N's and the M's of that is very hard to know where they go. An enemy. I don't think that is the correct spelling. But you would spell enemy E-N-E-M-Y, so tongue twisted suggests it's a sound like, but with those two mixed up. Anyway, a sea anemone is a tentacle beast, apparently. Oh, right, primarily, here's the primarily clue. We've got location inviting dipping outdoors. Well, a Lido is an outdoor swimming pool. Meteorological device, a weather vane. And useless in broadcast, got to sound like of vain, as in to do something in vain. I hope I've spelled that the right way. I haven't checked it. I can't think how else it would be spelt. Right, before jobs advertised, so prepositions, so positions of jobs. Prepositions before jobs advertised. So job being advertised is a position, yeah. So before it is prepositions, and terms often stated. Prepositions are a piece of grammar, and I can't remember which one they are. I think, and I'm going to go out on limb, they are connecting ones like and with, but I'm not sure about that because they suggest prepositions suggest it's something that comes before the position. Not sure. Anyway, a grammatical term, prepositions. Right, a sweet is a truffle. We've got T for time, and then raising a tiny creature with an expensive coat. So if we read up, we've got an elf is a tiny creature, and an expensive coat is a fur coat. In Oxford English Dictionary, so the Oxford English Dictionary is often abbreviated to the OED, and a slang for hand, well, your mitt is your hand, and left out is omitted. Right, fond of food is gastronomic, and take the G off of gastronomic, it becomes astronomic, which is enormous. A customer for whom every purchase is a steal. So in this case, shoplifters steal goods. They're not really customers, to be fair, but it is question marked. And a steal is often used to indicate, well, I bought this for £10. It was a steal when it should have cost, because it should have cost £20. So that's what the crypticness of that clue is. Right. So they were getting a bargain. Anyway, another swindle. Another swindle is second fiddle, and a second fiddle. You play second fiddle. The person who plays second fiddle is well, they're the junior partner. So I guess it's from the orchestra term. The first fiddle is obviously the main person playing fiddle in an orchestra. Second fiddle is obviously the junior partner. Now, in colloquialisms, second fiddle is normally, you say so and so played second fiddle to that player, to that person. So it isn't just about orchestras or whatever. It can just be like in a business or in a team or whatever, you're playing second fiddle to them. Someone who's more important. Right, uselessly is your anagram indicator. That intervened is very cleverly an anagram of reinvented. And yeah, you reinvent the wheel. Vis-a-vis a wheel. Fair enough. Inertia. Right, I didn't quite figure out what going on here, but assumes proud position. A proud position is you are standing tall, so stands tall. Inertia is to stall. Flipping extremes in inertia. Stall, stand still. Yes, I think it's you're at a standstill is inertia, and then change the I for an A to come stand tall. I think that's what it's doing. I'm just going to pause for a second and think to myself. Yes, I'm fairly convinced that is inertia is stand still, and then flipping extremes. So the extremes in inertia are the I and the A, so change still to stall, and that then gives you stands tall. On to 18. Game. So game is your anagram indicator. We need an anagram of license, but take the L off of license. Anagram the rest of the letters, so not beginning is saying take the L off, and that gives you discipline, which is science. Moldova is a hidden word cross paracetamol do vapor rub. It's Moldova is indeed somewhere in Eastern Europe, and taking some is your hidden word indicator. Terrible bore is saying do an anagram of bore, but largely is saying take the E off of bore, so anagram BOR, and then describing is saying putting around Everyman, so in this case Everyman is I, which gives you a writer, which is a biro. And no more than a lake, so you get lakes are called meres, especially in North England, so Lake Windermere is probably the most famous one of those. So no more than, well, he's a mere boy. So that's everything, I think. I think I've gone through all the clues. Yeah, not the easiest of puzzles, but not the toughest, I suppose. Well, after last week's anyway. I'm not sure if I was better anagram, I'd have maybe got that one. Should have seen essential oil a lot quicker, really. I don't, but I had only half done really for a long time, and that bottom left corner trap for ruse is a little bit difficult. Nannies, just getting to some of those clues is a little bit harder than you like, but generally not too bad. Thanks for watching.